So, this week's chapters. I'm going to be doing two because these ones are pretty short. So, chapter 13, Give and Let Live. Or, Give, Live and Let Die. Anyways, Give and Let Give. And chapter 14, Gratitude, is the gateway drug to awesomeness. I am currently drinking instant coffee. Something I usually only do in cases where there's no coffee, but I'm too lazy to make a full pot because I'm out of pots because I underestimated the amount of coffee I actually drink. Yeah, so I had like this huge Costco sized box of pods, and I like drank every single one of them. This is what it looks like when you're, how old am I? 41 and just worked a night shift and are up early so that you can get switched around to days. Yeah, so I'm just tired and I'll be a zombie all day. And I am gonna enjoy my my zombie coffee. I can't think of the word. Instant coffee. There we go. Yes, this is my brain when I'm tired. So it's not that bad actually. I got that like, you just always get like the Maxwell House kind, and then I can't remember where I was. Maybe it was Budapest, and because I would get up so early to walk around, I would and like the place where I used to stay, they had like this big fancy coffee machine, but they didn't turn it on until like 6 o'clock in the morning. So I would, the nice lady there, she would always leave me these little packages of instant coffee because, I don't know. So I would always have like these like a million little packages of this instant coffee that she would leave me. And it was so nice of her. Anyway, so I switched to, was it Nescafe, because it's actually really decent instant coffee. Like it tastes comparable to normal coffee. So yes, this week's vlog thingy is about good coffee. So what did we learn about give and let give? Basically, this chapter is about to give is to receive. Yeah. Basically, it's like, I like this where when we're in fear, we hold on to what we've got because we don't trust that there's more. We pinch off the energy we're scared to share, and we focus on and create more of the very thing we're hoping to avoid, which is lack. Yeah, so basically they say the more you hold on and place a higher value on things, the more closed off you are to possibilities, I guess. Perhaps. So, and they had like a little list of, things that you can do to help or to give. Pick a charity. I have been, I used to volunteer my time since I was 13, 12 or 13, pretty young, to the Heart and Stroke Foundation. I used to be like the in-school awareness person who put up like posters and like when you have like fundraisers and stuff like that, I'd, you know, go hand out flyers and stuff like that. Yeah, so I would always volunteer time with them. And then, because they don't have an actual physical Heart and Stroke Foundation up here, every February, I always have 3 charities that I give to. So the Heart and Stroke is one of those. So that's gone from in-person to monetary. And then depending on the year, then usually the other 2, I'll decide that year what's going on, or if there's something that's I don't know, that's caught my attention, I guess. And yeah, this wasn't like that long ago, probably like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I am really bad for taking on way too much. And you know, I would feel bad, like, because there's so many charities that need help, right? Nonprofits. And like, once you volunteer and work within a nonprofit, you realize you know, it's definitely nice to have money. Like, it's awesome to have money, but your most valuable asset is people and their time. So I would always take on way too much, and I'm the kind of person who does not like asking for help. And it got to the point where between my football and my charity volunteer, I was doing like 150 to 200 hours a month on top of my full-time job and the children, and it was just way too much. And my friend kind of had like a little intervention. So it was very sweet. It was very sweet of them. And that really forced me to like sit down and go through and take a look at what I could pare back on, you know, what I could get off of my plate. And as soon as I like said, I can't do this no more, like I physically can't do this no more, I'm like losing sleep, tired, you know, not having no life, absolutely no life, and started asking for help. It was surprising, like, people didn't even realize that, hey, maybe, you know, she needed help doing that or whatever, because I never said nothing. I would just do it. So, yeah. And I ended up, like, arranging pretty much everything that I needed to get off my plate. Ended up, like, basically just take care of itself. As soon as I said that I couldn't, it just, somehow somebody else stood up or whatever. And, so for the last, like, quite a few years, that's been a big focus of mine, is really trying to create a balance, because that is my personality. I go all in or nothing, basically. I like don't have any happy in between. So that's been part of my goal in the last couple of years. And my darling friend will actually, like, before I volunteer or before I do anything charitable, I run it through him, and we'll talk through it and see if it'll fit into my balance, basically. And but yeah, when it comes to charities. It's definitely nice to give money, and it's awesome if you have the time that you can volunteer, because they need it. Give your favorite thing away, and if possible, without them knowing. I like doing this, actually. If I have like a really good book that I've read, I'll usually like wrap it up and like randomly send it to people. They always know it's me though, because who else would send them a book, right? Or like, I don't know, coffee is another thing. If I like find a place that has really good coffee, I'll like buy everybody coffee. Because coffee is awesome. Leave a bigger tip. So yeah, if you're out at a restaurant or whatever, and it is within that country's custom. I think this is probably from an American author. But yeah, I've come across it where tipping isn't the standard in the country as much as it is in North America. And I always found that like at that point it's not like something that's expected, it's something that's appreciated, kind of thing. And yeah, so I don't know, I always say like do your research and check. I can't remember, I'm trying to think which country it is. There's one country, I was talking to this lady, we were talking, you know, it was in this like travel chat group, and the idea of tipping came up, and so everybody from wherever was saying what their standard is in their country and stuff like that. And there's one lady who was saying that they find it an insult and you never tip, and I can't remember what country that was. But yeah, if you ever travel, I don't know, those are always something that I always check. Tipping custom, stuff like that. How to order coffee, because, yeah, it's all about the coffee today. Here's, it says, don't sink to low people's level. Ew, that was a horrible sentence structure. Don't sink to, if somebody is like being snarky and you know, grouchy or whatever, or just not being a nice person, although sometimes it is nice to like get in there and just shut them up. It's saying not to sink to their level, because when you do that, you end up like drawing from their energy, and you end up bringing yourself down. But so instead of looking at it like trying to shut them up or trying to show them up, or you know, try to teach them a lesson or something, it says here you should stop and try to bring them up to your level. So instead of trying to get down on their level, you're supposed to try to bring them up to your level, and you try. That's all you can do. Smile, compliment, make people laugh. So this one here, I don't know. People get kind of weirded out with me sometimes, because I am a big believer of saying what you feel and what is on your mind in the moment. So sometimes people get a little bit weirded out by that, with just like randomly, you know, tell them something, or you know, just randomly like shoot out a compliment. And it's probably because I was like sitting there and was like, oh, so and so has such lovely eyes or whatever, so then I'll like message it or I was gonna say call, but realistically there's only one person I talk to on the phone. So but yeah, I'll usually like message something like that. I think it catches people off guard or so, I don't know. Anyways, I get like a weird reaction to it, and it doesn't bother me what people's reaction is, because I just have this this thing where you never know when your last conversation is going to be with that person, and it's always good to leave people knowing how you feel about them, and in a positive way. Does that make sense? So from the people that I've lost in my life, you know, who have passed away, you know, my parents, my brothers, like, it's so strange. I always say this is like the strangest thing, but even friends too. I've always had an opportunity to have a last conversation with these people, and some of them I knew that, you know, that was coming, but just didn't know the time, kind of thing, and others were a complete surprise. But I've always had the opportunity to have that last conversation, and that was always something that I was so grateful for, was that when it came time, you know, to go to funerals and all that stuff, and, you know, generally they're taken as, you know, this is like your last chance to get everything out that you wanted to say, kind of thing. And I always found it very reassuring, I guess, that I always had those conversations, and I always felt that there was nothing left to say. I had said everything that I could have possibly wanted to tell them before they had gone, you know? Like, I don't have any regrets in that instance of not telling those people. And for whatever reason, it's like, you play those conversations back in your mind, and you're like, did I know, or did they know subconsciously? Like, how does this conversation just, you know, come out of nowhere? And it's just absolutely awesome. So yeah, I'm a very big believer in telling people the positive and, you know, the good stuff. Because you never know what other people are going through, right? Like, if you tell somebody that their dress is nice that day, you know, you don't know what that person is going through. Maybe they just had like a breakup, you know, and they're putting on a happy face, and, you know, that you telling them that their dress is nice is, you know, the highlight of their day. Like, doesn't seem like much, but sometimes, like, the little smallest, tiniest bit of positivity does wonders for people. Say yes to invites. I am horrible for this. Although, not a lot of people invite me out anymore, because I say no all the time. Especially not now, because it's, you know, COVID. So, but yeah, I'm bad for that. I have social anxiety, and that's the one nice thing about football, was that it forced me to be social, as part of my job. So I'm weird. If it's part of my job, I have absolutely I have a little bit of trepidation about doing certain things, but I can be very social. I can be very charming. I can speak to people and not be a complete idiot. But when it's not part of my job, I have very bad social anxiety, and I'll have the tendency to, like, say, like, stupid things when I'm nervous and I'm talking to new people. You know, I was on Insta this morning. Somebody was asking about what movie is your favorite, and they had Dirty Dance in there, and the one lady was like, I feel like I carried a watermelon way too much. I was just laughing. I made a comment that is me flirting 100%. Like, I don't do well in those kinds of situations. I'll just say like something random, like, you know, I want a monkey, or I carried a watermelon. Like, it's not even just like with people I'm flirting with, it's like normal people too, like just somebody I'm having a conversation with. So it's like 90% of the people probably just think I'm weird, and the other 10% don't think anything of it and just continue on with the conversation. But yeah, so I do not say yes to the invitation a lot. I don't get very many invitations anymore because I don't say yes to them, and I definitely need to start doing that. COVID doesn't help because it makes it so easy to just not. So I'm gonna have to, once we're allowed out and about a bit more, I'm gonna have to be better about that. Although if somebody asked me to travel with them, that'd be a definite yes. If somebody asked me if I wanted to go out for coffee, that'd be definitely yes. So there are things I'll say yes to. Feel how good it is to give and to receive. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know, think about Christmas or birthday, you know, when you have taken the time to specifically pick something out for somebody, and you have that excitement of waiting for them to open it. I think that's probably like the best feeling in the world. Or, yeah, knowing you made somebody smile that day. Yeah, those are always nice feelings. And the receive part, I'm horrible at receiving. I always feel that there's never enough words to express gratitude for the things that other people have done for you. And you know, it could be something simple like, you know, somebody brought me a coffee. But I don't know, I feel very grateful for stuff like that, because, you know, somebody thought of me, went out of their way to pick this up and then bring it to me. You know, they didn't have to do that. So chapter 14 brings us to gratitude. It's gateway to awesomeness. I just have to get another coffee because, you know, coffee. Should count how many times I say coffee in this video. That would be awesome. I just wanted to go back about the giving, and you know, about you know, they say like holding on just creates lack, basically. The more you give, the more you receive. The more you hold on, the more you lack. And that can be very, you know, that it's easier to say when you actually have a stable situation. And but if you don't, then you're like, well, you know, I can't give. I physically, literally can't give, or whatever. There's always ways to give. If you are completely flat broke, you could always do something nice, right? And it doesn't always have to be about money. But that was the other thing that I had been reading about, you know, this book that a friend had given me for, there's like daily affirmations and stuff like that with mindfulness. So I was reading it to help me with my anxiety. And one of the things that I came upon in there was that if you're somebody like me who's like a chronic giver, who will, like, you know, give to the detriment of your own self, that was probably one of the biggest lessons I took from that book too, was that it says when you give things that you can't give, basically. So say, you know, you had like 20 bucks for eggs and milk, and you give away that 20 bucks. And in those situations, like with the other person doesn't realize what you've done. So then if they don't show gratitude, then it could cause a kind of like a cycle of resentment. You resent that person because you feel like they're not grateful for the sacrifice you made for them, but they're not aware that, you know, possible. Mostly they're not aware, or they just don't care that you made the sacrifice, right? So one of the things in that book said that, you know, whatever it is, emotionally, monetary, physically, that you should always make sure that your little bubble is taken care of. So, you know, make sure that you take care of yourself first, and then whatever is left over, if you do give it away, then it doesn't attach that that cycle of resentment towards it, I guess. That's my take on it anyways. And that's something I really started doing, like, especially like physically, like with my sleep. Especially the older I get, I need more sleep. When I was younger, I hardly ever slept. It was just last year was the first time in my life I ever slept for 8 hours. And I was like, unless I was sick or medicated. But yeah, that was just completely threw me. It's like, why did I sleep so much? Anyway, so for me, that's become one of the things that I need to make sure that I get for my physical well-being, and not only that, my mental well-being, because when I'm tired, my anxiety acts up really bad. So putting those boundaries in there on my giving of my time or whatever has been absolutely huge for my mental health. And what did I say the other day? I said the other day to somebody that, you know, you can't give from an empty cup. I'm sure everybody's heard that before. But when you take the time to fill your own cup, the stuff that overflows from your cup is more than enough to help and accomplish the things that you want to do, and the people you want to help, and the people, and the, you know, it's more than enough. And when you do that, you have this mind frame that this is what I'm able to do, and there's no regrets about not doing enough, I guess. I don't know how that works. It just kind of like turned in my head one day, and it was like that. But because I had always felt like I wasn't doing enough in situations, and then one day I was like realizing, okay, this is all I can do, and being okay with that. And the other thing is, when you are in a place where you're giving just for the sake of giving, and there's no attachment of wanting gratitude or wanting anything, you know, what was it? Somebody said, you know, what if somebody's taking advantage of you, or, you know, ripping you off or something? But when you give from a place where you've filled your own cup, it's not about what they are doing to you. It's about you helping somebody regardless of their actions. Does that make sense? It doesn't mean to let people take advantage of you. Like, that's never good. I'm just talking in circles now. But I don't know. A lot of people, like, I find they get weird and they don't understand. Maybe it's just something to say about our society nowadays. Like, when somebody wants to help you simply because they want to help you. They value you as a person and want to help you, no matter, like, if it's monetary or with time or information, you know, or whatever it is. I find a lot of people are very hesitant and they feel awkward because they're waiting to see what that person wants from them. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's my little spiel on giving. Give with the expectation that you're not gonna get it back, basically. That makes sense. It's a good one for money. So I never lend money, because when you lend money, there's an expectation that they're going to pay you back, and if they don't, then, you know, you're disappointed, upset, whatever. So when it comes to money, if I cannot go without it, or if it's going to create a problem if somebody doesn't pay me back, then I don't. If I can give this $20 and I never see it again, and it's not going to change my life, and it's not going to be horrible, and then that's it. You know, like, there's no attachment of that negative stigma and expectations and resentment and stuff like that. So, gratitude. Gratitude is the gateway drug to awesomeness. Again, same book. They have a practice of gratitude in there. And that was something I had incorporated into my daily journaling. And sometimes I just do it mentally, because some mornings I just don't have time to write, just don't feel like writing. But I always make myself do 3 things that I'm grateful for. And I always do it in the morning, because I just found, for me, it just sets the tone of my day. And I can always tell the difference in my day when I don't do it. So, and you know, it doesn't have to be anything grand. I am very grateful for this coffee this morning, or just afternoon. I'm very grateful for it. It makes me very happy. And here it says, about people like to be asked nicely. So it's that saying, you'll get more flies with honey than vinegar. It's always nice to be asked nicely to do stuff instead of being told. I guess I'm kind of an a-hole like that, because if somebody tells me to do something, you know, I might do it. I might be a complete ass and just say no and not do it. But if somebody asks me nicely, then I'll probably do it, because I just feel that we shouldn't assume that people are gonna do things. So I try to ask people nicely to do things. And here with the children, I have a 3 rule. I'll ask you nicely 3 times. If I have to go the 4th time, then you'll probably get, you know, time out or something. But in that sense too, I also have this little thing about, when I ask somebody to do something, I would not ask somebody to do something that I myself wouldn't be willing to do. You know, it's a little bit different, like if it's something that I just don't know how to do. But then I always, like, if I ask this person to do this thing for me, would I be willing to do the same equivalent of that thing for them? And I think that's like a good rule of thumb, is that don't ask people to do for you what you wouldn't do for yourself, or what you wouldn't be willing to do for them, because it's a 2-way street. And definitely always ask nice. I'm Canadian. So we say please and thank you a lot. And in traveling to, something I've really found is that learning how to say please and thank you in whatever language of wherever you're going is huge. Like, honestly, the first time I went to Italy, I think like 90% of me getting by in Italy was just knowing how to say please and thank you, and I would like a coffee, please. So, you know, being polite, being, you know, nice, basically, it goes a long way. Smile. When you smile, when you talk to somebody, it goes a long way, as opposed to if you have a scowl on your face. And if you're like me, who has beautiful RBF, yeah. If I'm not consciously smiling, or if I'm not like having a good time and like, you know, naturally smiling, if I'm just sitting there, I look like a psycho killer. Yeah. So it's always something I'm aware of. Gratitude is the gateway to awesomeness. I definitely feel like when you're grateful for things, I don't know, it's like little joys. Like, I just laugh at myself sometimes, but like how happy silly things, yeah, completely meaningless things basically makes me. Like this cup of coffee, it's very grateful for it. I find very much joy in it today, and it just makes me happy. Honey croissants just they're my jam. Those are like the little things. It just brings me so much joy, and that is awesome. It is a gateway to awesomeness. Get what you give. I am a big believer in this, that you get what you give. If you are an a-hole, chances are that is how people are going to treat you. But yeah, there's that whole like, you attract what you put out. You're negative, you know, you're gonna attract negative people, negative energies. So I definitely believe that we are how we behave. We are treated how we behave. I always tell that to the kids too. They get cranky with me or with other people, and it's like, yeah, you're going to be treated how you're treating other people. So if you want to be treated in a manner that's grumpy and not nice, you know, and sent for timeout or whatever, then that is up to you. But, you know, maybe if you smiled and asked nicely, you get a lot farther. Faith is having gratitude, having the audacity to believe in the not yet seen. That is like a big thing. Like if, so like I've said a million times, with my anxiety, one of the biggest things that sets off my anxiety is being in situations that I cannot control. And you cannot control everything. So how does one manage with anxiety? I will go through lists of things that are sometimes ridiculous, that have not happened yet, but the possibility that they're going to happen is minuscule. And I will make sure that I go through all these irrational, you know, things in my brain that are giving me anxiety, and go through them and just running through scenarios and deciding, if this is a situation, if it ever did happen, can I control it? If I can, what can I do? And then, you know, that will help a lot. And if I can't, then I need to focus on just letting it go, because there is nothing I can do. So like, you know, planes. I am scared of flying. I do not like flying. Mentally, I know I'm safer flying than I am driving. I don't like driving either, but that's another story. But that is one of those things where there's not anything I can do if I'm going to be in a plane crash besides not flying. And that's not an option because I like to travel. So that's just something I've slowly been having to let go of. I still haven't let go. I'm still scared of flying, but I can get on a flight now without, like, you know, hyperventilating and crying. So, you know, baby steps. I'm getting there. Slowly letting that stuff go. But, you know, that's part of it. Like, that's probably the negative aspect of it, with the, you know, seeing the things that you can't see, and visualizing the things in the future. So for me, that was what helps with my anxiety, is to examine all those irrational fears and negativities and work through them to where I feel like I can be positive about any situation that I come into. So, you know, nothing I've ever, any trip I've ever taken has never gone to plan, like ever. And they usually end up, by most people's standards, my trips usually end up like complete disasters. But because I've gone through this, and I have taken the negativity and the fear out of not being in control of situations, it's really given me the ability to go with the flow and not have my anxiety completely take over. So then that leads to, you know, the whole, I don't know how the situation is going to work out, how it's going to resolve. But I just have this like weird belief that it will. And, you know, and they usually do. Never the way you think they would. Never the way you planned out in your like anxiety-induced screening and plans and stuff like that. But I don't know, things always worked out. So, yeah, I don't know where I'd go with that. Having faith in that things are going to work out is like a huge thing. And like fully believing in it definitely is a big thing. Especially when you're in a situation where, you know, it's scary or fearful or whatever. It's a very hard thing to just like step back and be like, okay, everything is going to be fine. We'll figure this out. It'll work out. We're good. Yeah, that's a big thing. But getting to that point, and I was taking so much stress and so much of the chaoticness out of life. It's like calming and reassuring, I guess. Oh, and here goes the next point. Faith is your best buddy when you're scared shitless. So yeah, it is. You know, when you're in a situation and you don't know like how it's going to work out, just having that faith that it will work out and truly believing it is definitely a comfort, and it takes out a lot of the fear. It doesn't mean that you can't do things to change the outcome or to resolve the issue or to prevent the issues in the first place. You know, definitely if you are in a position where you can change, you know, a negative outcome to a positive outcome, then definitely do that. But, you know, when you're in those situations and there is nothing that you can do, it's reassuring to reassure yourself that things are going to work out. Being in gratitude for the not yet manifested informs the universe that you know what you want and desire already exists, and you're putting the right frequencies out to receive it. So being grateful for something that's not in your life or that has not happened yet puts you in the mind frame to be able to receive it, possibly. Is that how you perceive that statement? Yes, I guess. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to ponder that one a bit more and take a look at that. This is good because, what is it? Here are some ways you can practice. So, whenever anything happens, good, bad, ugly, meet it with this statement. This is good because. Oh, I do that a lot. Or, I always try to find the lesson or the positive in every situation, because a lot of the times when you're in a negative space, it's emotionally, physically draining, and you don't pay attention to those little details. And if you force yourself to stop and take inventory, you'll see just how many like awesome, beautiful things they are. A lot of the times it's like, you know, you read and you see, you hear about so many negative things with the media, and you know, a lot of the times if you just stop and watch and just pay attention to your surroundings, like, you'll see there are so many good people in this world. Definitely have met a lot on my journeys in my life, and there's so many good people out there. You just have to stop and see them and appreciate them, because people like that are awesome. But yeah, and then also the lessons, like when something bad happens, you know, it's easy to kind of just wallow in it, I guess. And one of the things that helps me process and digest and move on is taking the lessons that I've learned. Okay, so what did I learn from this situation? If I had this situation again, what could I do differently? And stuff like that. So it's for me, that's just helpful for me to let things go, because otherwise I have a tendency to just hold on to things. Write your thank you notes. Yeah, I don't know. I think it goes back to the same thing about always saying what you feel in that moment, and the positivity and the gratefulness for people and the things they do, no matter how, you know, insignificant or small you might think, or the other person might think something is. It's always nice to like express your gratitude when you can. You know, somebody holds the door open to you, it's just polite to say thank you, but you know, it's also, you know, it's nice to thank somebody for doing something nice for you that they didn't have to do, you know. So yeah, I don't know, always let people know what is on your mind, so that you don't have those regrets that you never let them know, you know. Maybe that person doesn't realize that holding that door open for you made your day. So, you know, maybe it's something as simple as thank you. If you're comfortable going, you know, thank you, I'm having a bad day that made my day. But whatever. So, I'm horrible with receiving gratitude. It makes me feel uncomfortable. So, like, if I do something, I'm doing it for the sake of doing it, and I don't feel like I need that gratitude. But then on the other hand, I understand that people on the opposite end need to show that gratitude. Like they say in here, you need to give that gratitude back. And I'm awkward and uncomfortable. I never know what to say when somebody's like, thank you. And I'd be like, yeah, no problem. And I don't know. I need to work on that. Accepting gratitude, because it's not just about me. The other person needs to express gratitude, right? You need to work on that. Love yourself. Of course, love yourself. Be grateful for all you are and all that you're becoming. I am becoming more awake the more I drink this coffee. And I shall go on and I was gonna say I was go on and be productive, but you know, let's face it, I'm just gonna wander around like a zombie for the rest of the day, counting down the minutes and hours till bedtime. You know, it might be a good day to like just chill with a book, like, you know, this one. Actually, I should probably do my French because I am slacking at that. So yeah, next week is chapter 15, Forgive or Fester. I feel like I am the queen with this one. Because like I was just saying, I don't process things, I hang on to them. And I will hold a grudge. So I think this chapter shall be very good for me. Let's see, besides that, what else has been on the go? Missed my little live your best life awesomeness stuff. The whole like diet and exercise thing. Diet I've been awesome with. Exercise, been getting out and walking more. It's kind of like hit and miss. We're like in spring where we get like snow and then rain and then sunny, and so when it's snowing I don't like going outside. I'm like a big baby right now. I don't like cold, so if it's cold I hibernate. I'm like a bear. It's cold, I hibernate. So that's still a work in progress. I think I just need to like just bite the bullet and just schedule in like an hour to do an intense home workout. And then, what else? Yeah, I'm still working on digitalizing my artwork. That is a lot of work. It's a long process, but, you know, I enjoy it too, so that's not a bad thing. And, I'm just trying to sort out what I want to do with my writing. Like, if you ever went through my shelves and stuff like that, I have so much like random writing on like everything. Like short stories, I have poems, and sometimes it's just like an absolutely beautiful sentence that struck me and I had to write it down or whatever. And you know, there's like 3 novels in various phases. So I need to really take a look at that aspect and what I want to do and where I want to go with that and what I want to achieve, I guess, or where do I want to bring that to. So that will be this week. The other thing I've been working on is not allowing people to see me, I guess. I'm a very private person. I don't like, and I have trouble with like positive feedback, I guess, because I feel like people are placing me on a unreasonable pedestal, and then I put pressure on myself that I can't let them down and fall off this pedestal, and then it just goes into a cycle. So I'm working on that, and being comfortable with showing people my flaws and my failures or my not so good attempts at doing things and stuff like that, to really bring myself to that level of not stressing out if I am not perfect, because come on, we're human, we're not perfect, not one of us. So yeah, that is one thing I've definitely been working on. And other than that, work, coffee, learning guitar, Italian, French, and all of it's very slow, but I'm fine with that. I enjoy them, so it hasn't been a waste of time. But until next time, we will return with, what was the chapter? This is what night shift brain is like. If you ever have to work a night shift, this is what you have to look forward to. Forgive or fester. So until next time.